Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our final panel of the iFX EXPO in Dubai. This is going to be a super interesting discussion, super relevant to our industry. Technology is the foundation of everything that we do. And I'm very pleased that we have such a great group to discuss this very important topic. Of course, our moderator is Michael Pearl, the CEO of Kirobo. We also have Wassim Khateeb, the head of business development at FXCUBIC. Or Goldshmidt, the head of commercial operations at Panda Trading Systems, Tom Higgins, the CEO of Goldeye and CryptoSwitch, Prajesh Manglani, the account director of data and analytics, at the London Stock Exchange Group, Evgeny Sorokin, the SVP of Software Engineering at Dev Experts, and last but not least, Demis Gavrielidis, the vice president of business development and sales at GCC in South Asia at MetaQuotes. Let's give them a warm welcome. Thank you.
Hello.
We're short one microphone, so let's do introductions and then I'll be back.
Sure. Hello, everyone. It's the last panel, and we have 6 people here, so it's going to be challenging, but we're going to have a lot of fun. So, from risk management to acquisition, the world of trading technology is changing rapidly. New tools are revolutionizing the trading experience for brokers and traders alike. Technology providers are required to offer more, crypto for instance, and to constantly optimize their services. So in this session, the panelists will address all the hot and burning topics of technology and trading technology. And obviously, we'll also talk about the challenges that they are facing. So Tom, let's start with you guys. A very brief introduction, and we'll dive into the questions.
Thank you very much, and thank you for everyone for lasting till the end. So Tom Higgins, I'm CEO and founder of Goldeye CryptoSwitch. So we're a tech company. It's been around 13 years, which is forever in this industry. Starting in FX and CFDs, now moving into cryptos in the last 3 or 4 years, providing liquidity management, technology, risk management, business analytics, money management, and all the connectivity involved in all of that.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Hello, guys. My name is Or. I'm the head of the commercial operation in Panda Trading System. We're offering traders solutions. We're offering platform solutions. We're offering web traders, mobile application, basically everything that a broker needs, from social trading to a CRM. We have our built-in products, and we have any request that the clients have. We have a customized solution for it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending the panel. Thank you to the iFX EXPO for organizing it. My name is Wassim. I take care of business development at FXCUBIC. We're a fintech company specialized in development of low latency softwares, risk management products, aggregations, and reporting in general. Happy to be here with you.
Hi, it's Evgeny Sorokin from Dev Experts. Dev Experts is another technology company, a global one, that is specialist in solutions for broker-dealers around the globe.
Hello, my name is Demis. I'm from MetaQuotes. I think I don't need to explain to people here what is MetaQuotes, but for those who still not aware about it, we are vendors of MetaTrader platform. Most of you know MetaTrader 5, our oldest technology, MetaTrader 4. And yes, thank you for coming for our panel. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Prajesh. I represent the London Stock Exchange Group. We're the data and analytics business of the London Stock Exchange Group. We're a diversified markets data infrastructure and technology firm, present in 180 countries with 70,000 customers globally. We're the financial and risk business that spun out from Thomson Reuters to form Refinitiv. And I'm looking forward to a productive discussion with the panel here.
Thank you so much. So, the COVID pandemic has exposed a major weakness in the labor market. I don't see any company that is not dealing with staffing issues. Sorry? So I see so many companies that are dealing with staffing issues. Obviously, that's not special only to the trading technology sector, but obviously the trading technology sector that needs to onboard developers and other specialists have it even harder. So I wanted to ask you guys what can be done to mitigate this, and a more specific question, how do you deal with this within your own companies?
Maybe if I can start with this one. It's, and I'm sure some people disagree with me this, I hate remote working. I think everyone being together is the most important thing. Humans like dealing with other humans. And when people aren't near us, I can't think strategically in the same way. Maybe that's because I'm a different generation and I know other people love the remote model and they think that's the right way to go. But I found with COVID, people not being in the office and being able to talk to each other, the conversations that you have around the water cooler, around the coffee machine don't happen because you don't arrange a team meeting to have a chat about something you didn't know about. And so it's been so important for us to keep together. We're back in the office now and we really find it's just so much more better to be together. Recruiting people has been very difficult because some people, developers, didn't want to come into an office ever at all. They want to stay at home. If they never come in and you never see them, then they have very little engagement with the company because it's very easy for them to switch to something else, to disappear, because they don't understand, they don't hear all of the talk from the senior management, from everybody. And I'll be interested in hearing other people's views on the opposite of that, because I know that there are many opposite views to that.
Thank you, Tom. I agree with you, by the way. I think that working from office is way better than working from Zoom and remotely. In Panda, we found out that the way of recruiting people, the best way of recruiting people currently is friend referral. If the guys in your company love the company and love the environment, then they will recommend it. And obviously, we give some promotions for our employees to spread the word and bring their friends. And this is what is actually the best way that is working for us specifically. Obviously, there is the traditional way that you are doing, but this is the one that fits our needs the best.
Yes, the pandemic definitely changed a lot of things in our lives, turned things upside down, and that was also observed on the staffing part of the business. I definitely agree that the informal reports inside the company is something that we are missing nowadays due to the physical distance. And that said, many things didn't change for us as a company because of the fact that we have several offices spread across the globe. We had already all the project managements, developments, coding that was organized online already. So that aspect didn't change much, but what changed is this exchange of energy that we had constantly, whether it's over the coffee machine or whether it's on the corridor of the office, and that was really important in the team building side, in the possibility to create a positive energy within the company. And this is something that, to be honest, we didn't find a solution to. We hope we are getting to better days where we can all work together again, at least a big part of the week. And I don't think there is immediate solutions to it. Other things that were affected, I believe, are that worth mentioning are related to the psychological effects that the pandemic had on the employees, on the teams, on us, on me, on everyone. It's not the same working from home. It's not the same of not being able to recharge our batteries by exchanging with other people's. So we have seen maybe a slight or sometimes a big drop in the motivation of the employees, and this is something that can be solved overnight, and I don't think technology can do too much about this. We are social animals. That's what we are at the end of the day, and we can't change our nature overnight. So we definitely hope for better days.
So this is a multifaceted question. So we can talk about sourcing people, onboarding people, and retaining them in-house. Since this is a technological panel, so let's touch technology most, because the other aspects, well, I don't think anybody needs a piece of advice that you need to have a brand, you need to build it in a way and communicate it in a way that it's the place to be for software people and all these things. No technology can fix that if you don't have it. So what technology can do? For example, software people, they are tired of pushy recruiters. They want to navigate the job market in a way that they don't feel the pressure from the recruiters. And surprisingly, chatbots came in handy, right? So they, even though there are limitations of the conversational UI, many developers, they still prefer to get a digest, find an opening that matches their criteria, and even schedule the interview without a human touch from the recruiter. So that's sourcing. Then goes onboarding. So there are lots of learning management systems. So companies who hire people in big amount of FTEs, full-time employees, they need to invest in the content creation, and they need to optimize the time to value for the newbies. And then, well, the retention, obviously there are some tools to check the moral of employees and how to keep them happy. It's old news, right? It isn't a cutting-edge technology that help you there. So the solutions have been already there. We just need to exercise them more than we had to before, because we could rely on the more social interaction style.
I would like to mention something regarding the labor market, and I believe there is no weakness in the labor market, especially for technology. The only thing that I believe is to hire and to find those people that are compatible to do the job. And if we will take a look, for example, people or work remotely, for us, for MetaCodes, we don't have such kind of things. Okay, we're using third-party translations, for example. They don't need to be in the office, but when we are talking about developers, they have to be there, and otherwise you won't see the results. And I had experience of working remotely. You're getting rust. So at these days, we already tired to talk about pandemic and all these things, so people are back to the offices already since long time. And yeah, regarding the other point that some fellow speakers here mentioned about being in the office and the good vibes and environment, not in MetaCodes. we are tough, guys. We are tough. Otherwise, you won't see what you see right now. I'm talking about the result of work of world best developers that we have in our end.
I think
The
outside of
management there
MetaQuotes,
Tom knows very well what we're talking about.
I just think outside of MetaQuotes, it's probably a bit of a different world, maybe. Because you are so dominant in your space, you have that power to be able to do that. But it's the developers we found that mostly say, I want to work remotely, and big tech is really taking advantage of this, because they go to people and say, you can work remotely, so it doesn't matter where you live anymore, you don't have to come into London. And it's creating competition that wasn't there before, which is tricky. Now, most companies don't have the ability to say, you have to be in the office all the time, you have to do what I say, or you can't work here. So you're lucky that you've got that dominance to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I think everyone could agree over here, the pandemic really accelerated the future of how people work today. And if you look at what happened in March, a lot of people lost jobs, right? A lot of people, there were staffing issues. But where do you bring in the best of resources globally? And I think as a large organization, we took a slightly different approach towards work. We went to a hybrid model. So, we work 3 times in the week in the office and twice at home. And that gives you the comfort of what you're doing in the office and what you're doing at home. I think what the future holds today is technology has really brought people closer. I can speak to anybody in Singapore. I can speak to anybody in London. But when I'm in the office, those conversations really shape up when I'm, as social animals, you really want to have a face-to-face interaction. But when you're at home, I believe you're sort of measured in terms of how productive you are at home. And that's where technology is playing a big influence. How productive using systems that can monitor how productive what's my output to be. I think it's a little subjective when you look at certain functions of the business. A front office would have to be in the office. A middle office, of course, developers, tech, back office. I think that hybrid model seems to be working quite well. And I'm looking at the shift with financial institutions, banks, brokers. They are gradually taking that as an approach because the benefits of home give you the flexibility and it also gives you the ability to, interact and have your own social time there.
So let's dive into the core questions now that we're done with the chit chat about about staffing. So Demis, you mentioned your developers and your technology. I'm curious to hear what kind of innovation have you had during the passing year, and to focus you more, I would like to hear what kind of a demand do you see coming from the industry in terms of features and new technology that people are demanding.
Thank you, Michael. I would like to say that if I will start talking about the new features and technology that Metacode's done within the last few months, I need 1 hour. Okay, I will try to be fast on that. The first thing is that we see big demand from the industry when we are talking about client onboarding journey for the brokers. And we have developed a lot of things and features in MetaTrader 5 which are already built in and which helps the broker with the onboarding process. For example, KYC process, right? So now MT5 could be connected directly with different KYC providers and it makes life of the broker much easier. So you don't need to hire huge compliance department. Everything can be done within 2 minutes to verify the client. The other thing is different services that helps not only the broker but other players in the industry. I'm talking about hedge funds. Talking about family offices, fund management companies. They can use our technology, which is built all in one, and run their business with less costs. Because, as you know, every single hedge fund, in order to run properly, they need a bunch of different technical solutions. They need charting systems, algo trading, and so on and so on. So they spend a lot of money for that. MetaTrader 5, as you know, is all in one system, and it helps them to run the business within one platform. And we are publishing almost every month new build of MT5. So, and each time for us to release the new build or update of the platform is huge amount of work. And we're improving the system technically, we're improving it with the features and so on and so on. And in the same time, we help and support a lot different technology providers who has their own solutions that works with MetaTrader. I'm talking about like now we have huge trend with cryptos, right? With crypto market. And MetaTrader is a compatible system to do that. And there is a big demand of brokers about integrations of MetaTrader 5 platform to crypto exchanges. And yeah, that's one thing that we've done is we help and we provide, I can say, updates which helps the technology providers to build integrations of the platform to the exchanges, different payment systems, and so on and so on.
Evgeny, can you share about your innovations and things coming from the industry?
To be honest, yes, it was perfectly summarized. This concept of having like all-in-one, the front office application, to have the personalized KYC, personalized service, the AI-assisted trading or curated newsfeed or anything really which is tailored to the need of a particular trader is of a great demand. So that's that. And then, well, there is always, there are things that are of a constant value. People want resilience, people want speed, they want stability, but probably it's a bit too boring to speak when we speak about like fancy features. So Among the fancy requests would be AI, which impacts every single aspect of a trading application, starting from the front office and going all the way back to risk management.
Got it. So Demis mentioned earlier crypto. So Tom, I wanted to ask you. So crypto obviously is huge in the retail space, and especially now with the emergence of the metaverse and DeFi that we already have during the last 2 years. But it seems like brokers have not been really successful into tapping into that, or correct me if I'm wrong, and especially in monetizing it. So can you share a little bit about your experience and maybe some project for the future?
Absolutely, thank you for that. So, I mean, you might notice I introduced myself as Goldeye Crypto Switch now because most of the conversations we've had at the trade show today have been about crypto liquidity and how to provide crypto in a safe way. Now, I think the reason that most retail brokers are not fully involved in it yet, but want to be, absolutely want to be, is because in 2017, when the price collapsed and nobody had any proper liquidity providers to offset their risk with, they really got burned. Now, in that interim period between then and now, the institutional market has dramatically developed. And this is why we produced our Crypto Switch product, bringing liquidity from market makers, large exchanges, and traditional LPs together to provide a very safe, very curated liquidity provision for funds and for brokers and for prime of primes. This is what's changed. So there's now, if you could only book in the FX market, there's only certain people that would want to play because it's too risky. It was a bit like that in the crypto world. Now you've got a sensible place to play and you've got a sensible risk management. That's what we're seeing. Now on top of that, a lot of people are booking. They're hybrid trading, so they need a very strong risk management and business analysis method, and this is why you'll see across the board, we've all got some products in that space, and we've got our Visual Edge product, and there's a lot of interest in that on how to manage that quite extreme volatility that you see in cryptos that you don't see in other asset classes. So that's the changes we're seeing.
Or, same question?
Look, I want to add to what Tom said. Apart from the part of the liquidity and the risk management, there is the technology part. A lot of brokers are not technology savvy, okay? A lot of brokers thought in 2018 that they are going deep into this market. They took some Bitcoin, Ethereum, put them as CFDs, and that's it. I have cryptos. But this is not the case, because right now when you're looking on all the big exchanges that took the big market share, companies like Binance, Kraken, all of those, you can see that the solution that they are providing is much more than trading. They are providing also wallets, they are providing options for staking, they are providing a high yield for putting your money in savings. So there is much more than just giving the trading opportunity for the clients. And unfortunately, most of the brokers today are not so technological, and as you know, you have your own blockchain company that is working, and it's very hard also to find blockchain developers these days, and it's very hard to keep ahead of the curve in this environment. So I think that in 5 years, 6 years, when the generation will change a bit, we'll see much more companies growing up, giving solutions for those problems. And similar to the Forex, back in those days, if you wanted to establish a Forex broker, you needed to have everything. Today you can go and get yourself a package from somebody. I believe that in the future it will be the same also for cryptos.
I have to, if I may, I have to agree with Or about this. I think that crypto has become very complex, and it's moving very quickly. And brokers that want to tap into that, they have to go all in. They have to understand that there's a certain amount of investment,
exactly.
Obviously of attention and funds and so on. That's just a side mark. So Wassim, tell me, we're now at the UAE in Dubai. I'm curious, do you see any innovation, technological or otherwise, coming from this area or from the GCC area in general? And also, do you see any special needs, requests, demands coming from brokers that are active in this area or incorporated here?
Yes, sure. The GCC region and Dubai in particular is certainly turned toward the future. but I don't think we can limit that to one or two disciplines. We find that in multiple aspects, such as healthcare, tourism, financial services, artificial intelligence, robotics, cryptocurrency, to say. So definitely they're taking the lead in many aspects that the financial muscles that they have definitely helps, but I believe there is a clear vision in the country turn toward the future, and they are achieving that well by prioritizing innovation. To come back to innovation on the previous question you had, I believe one of the main places where we can still innovate, and I believe that applies to all the participants in the panels, is in the collect, treatment, analysis on the data and applying it to the improvement of the business processes. This applies directly to Forex and CFD businesses as it does on the crypto sphere, and that will help definitely FX and CFD brokers to adopt crypto more and more and get the costs flattened so that the entry barriers are smaller.
Demis, you want to add something?
Yeah,
Real
I would
quick?
like to add something. I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, UAE is becoming a blockchain hub, and they are planning to bring free zone to encourage more and more exchanges that are supporting the futuristic market when we're talking about crypto industry or blockchain. And in the same hand, in GCC, especially in UAE, later they started different types of campaigns, and they attract the industry players to be here. When we're talking like big giants, I don't know, Facebook or Microsoft, they already base here, but in the same hand, the founders of Telegram app or Binance, they are also encouraged by the UAE government. And yeah, so we see big future in the region related into that.
I see Prajesh wants to add.
Yeah, I think if you add to look at how Dubai and the government of Dubai is basically transforming technology and innovation, you have in the DIFC, you have the Dubai FinTech Hive, which is a $100 million fund for startups to come innovate and set up in the UAE. You've seen really interesting companies that have established, the likes of Tarabout, the likes of Wally. These are sort of payment gateways. These are open architecture APIs that can really disrupt the banking system. You know, banks, fintechs can literally sort of, layer up client data, can layer up, information that could be useful in the hands of, the millennials. And then that's where you're seeing a lot of advanced, companies that are starting up, and in terms of licensing. So I think Dubai is actually taking the lead, in this part of the region, and, it's expanding across the GCC. Not to also mention where you're seeing the World Trade Center now becoming, the regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies and crypto exchanges to now set up, in the GCC, and Dubai is also taking the lead on that. So I think we're just scratching the surface into seeing what does the future hold, and you'll see much more happening in this part of the world now.
I have to say, as you probably understand, I know quite a lot of people here and people that I meet time and time again. So many people that are telling me that they're moving to Dubai or have moved to Dubai or set up shop here. It's amazing. Yeah. Evgeny, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I suggest we take another angle while looking at this. So the real disruptive innovation usually happens when there are breakthroughs in one of three things. It's either new, let's say, algorithms, or some breakthrough in the development techniques, so the quality of software engineers, or it's the data, right? Well, we can safely assume that the level and the capabilities of the engineers, of software engineers across all the regions are the same. Whenever there is a new algorithm published or new neural network has been announced and tested, it becomes quickly like a common knowledge. So the engineers and data scientists can work with this and basically are equipped with the same tool. So the only differentiator would be data. So who owns the data would they would harvest the actual innovative disruption.
Got it. Prajesh, let me ask you, so multi-asset has become the norm, right? and we see so many new assets emerging all the time, and the demand for new assets is obviously constantly changing and growing and expanding. What kind of trends do you see that from your perspective during the last year, and what do you think that is going to happen during 2022?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Now, if you look at today with regards to, I think being multi-asset has become a norm in the industry. Offering CFDs is one, offering cash equities another, ETFs, indices, I think that's obviously taking mass adoption amongst the brokers around the globe. When you look at the future, I think there have been new streams of finance that have actually stepped in. You have alternative finance where ESG has become the norm across Europe. You look at carbon emissions trading. I think when you look at a lot of these new digital assets which are emerging, I believe when it comes to cryptocurrencies, the underlying blockchain is actually taking traditional securities and transforming how these new assets are getting introduced in the market. Tokenized securities, I think, is an emerging sort of trend, and specifically carbon credits has been. Everyone would have seen the surge in in the carbon credits in the EU ETS market, and also when it comes to ESG indices. So I think there's a lot that's going to come in terms of product innovation and in terms of new products that are going to shape the market of trading.
Can I just raise something on this? One of the my background before FX and CFDs and cryptos was in the futures world, and so I've worked in exchanges a lot, for exchanges. And one of the issues that retail brokers have with exchange-based products is the data fees.
Correct.
It's incredibly expensive. I know how much the exchanges I worked at then, how much of their revenue was from data, and it was about 30 to 40% of their revenue was from data. And so when you're a retail broker offering FX and CFDs and you're not, or index CFDs, and you're not paying any exchange fees, you then go into the world of offering equities. You might not realize how unbelievably expensive it can be for data if you just take the main exchanges, you don't look, you're exposed enormously. How will an exchange address that? Because it's a limiter on how much trading can happen in the retail because of the fees.
That's a very valid question. And if you look at the way the market data industry, and actually what MiFID brought forward is basically bringing that transparency in the market. And when you're seeing exchanges trying to monetize in terms of where liquidity and where market data moves today, when it comes to market data vendors are actually optimizing by moving infrastructure where you need to connect into an LD4 to get access to market data and moving that to the cloud. So not necessarily that you need to look at what a broker would shell out in terms of market data costs today. When it comes to exchange licensing, I believe apart from primary venues, there are alternative venues that are much more cheaper. For small startup brokers to mid-sized brokers that are looking to expand into the cash equity world or into the ETF world, I believe the likes of CBOE are doing a great job in bringing forward, competitive market data access. And I think even the London Stock Exchange, and if you look at NASDAQ and all of the major exchanges, they're really embracing the retail space and allowing the redistribution of derived data. So what do you consume as data, what do you pay for data is going to get much more sort of harmonized there.
So we don't have much time, but I would like to open the floor for questions if there are any. Anyone? Okay. So let's do like a flash question for the entire panel, and please keep it very short and simple. I'd like to get your opinion about what we are expected to see during 2022. Because it seems like the technology has become so ubiquitous, right? It seems like what is there to invent anymore, right? So we do the small optimizations and the small twitches, but do you think that we'll see any breakthrough, any new things emerging? So Tom,
maybe political futures.
Look, from my opinion, everything that you see right now in the world is going to go through the metaverse. So it will take time. It can be, nobody can predict the future. It can be in 5, 6, 10, 20 years. But as you can see with the NFTs this year, that assets become digital, you can see that a lot of things and a lot of experience in life will become digital as well. You started to see it with the pandemic, and I believe that all the major development that you see with the AI and machine learning will be also implemented in the metaverse, advertisements, assets, everything that you can do today in the real world, you will be able to do in the future in the digital world.
So first of all, I wish things will calm down and we won't see a World War III. And related to our line of business, I believe that the trends we have been observing lately, which is mass adoption of cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, and these implications on the business that we will have, will still be present. And in addition to this, continuing the demand, as the gentleman mentions, on physical stock trading and more adoption toward the retail markets by biggest players.
Gents have already taken all the catchy buzzwords. So, first of all, there is a lot to be done in this incremental innovation. Right, so the quantity of those small changes will translate into a quality, and it will be the whole new level. Now, as for metaverse, there will be lots of R&D projects in 2022. I'm not sure if it's already time for us to go with the glasses and do everything in the virtual world in 2022. However, well, it is kind of obvious. Mark inspired everybody that now it is a self-proclaimed future for metaverse. So maybe not this year, but we will face a big transformation soon, and a lot of the front office experience will have its representation in there. And of course, AI is eating the world, so all the aspects of the business will be impacted.
Actually, I want to say something regarding the future of the industry. We as technology providers, we are the first who seeing the challenges and changes in the industry, and we adapt or we develop new things. So this is the main difference between brokerage companies, brokerage houses, and technology providers, because brokerage companies, like, in one point they become automated and they are like a car with cruise control, they're moving, right? So, but not for the technology companies. For us, it's not the same. And if we see that there is demand, we have to adapt into this direction and provide those type of technology solutions that will support the industry. Like, I will give you an example for, let's say, like few years ago, trading from the mobile phone was not for everyone. Some people, they used to work, I don't know, trade only through old type of PCs, and then the mobile become very popular. At one point, multi-asset products, multi-asset trading platforms, they become, or like we came with MetaTrader 5, where we introduced MT5 first as a multi-asset trading platform. And we give the possibility to people to trade multiple assets from the single platform. Then we have cryptos pops up, right? So we have to adapt. We have to create solutions like you can, Tom already said about that, where we can help the industry to have everything on your hand, on your phone, and have the great trading experience. So talking about 2022, we don't know. Of course, we create a lot of things, but sometimes, sure, you know, it's like it's working well, but then you see that demand is coming from somewhere else, you know. So I believe that with the technology today, we will take the industry to the next level. And there is a lot of things, all right? I can say that there is a nice future for cryptos, or I don't know, maybe for cash equities and so on and so on. It's all about technology. From our end, we are doing the best things to keep that level and help the industry with everything we can. Thanks.
Prajesh?
Well, if you look at what I see 2022, I think we've just scratched the surface when it comes to using artificial intelligence and machine learning. The future of trading technology and trading desks is shaping up tremendously. It's no longer humans trading versus humans. It's computers trading versus computers. Yeah, that's basically this industry today. And when you look at being truly multi-asset, I believe brokers that have disparate systems that trade one asset and they're trying to be that true multi-asset, but there are gaps in risk management systems, there are gaps in execution management systems, there are gaps in order management systems. But how do smart algos work, and how do adaptive systematic order routing works? I think that's going to shape how being truly multi-asset is going to transform. And I think that we've just scratched the surface. The party's just started, so you could expect to see a lot more on that side of technology.
Thank you all so much. Thank you to the panelists and to the attendees. We had a great time, I hope. Thank you.